Are leaders born, or can leaders be created? Can you teach a young man to become a leader? Can you coach him? Can you train him to be a leader? What makes a good leader? Do situations create leaders, or leaders create situations? Most of you may have pondered about these things, but may not have found answers to it. Today on Youth Express, we discuss creating young leaders. And who better to discuss this with than somebody who made a leader out of himself, somebody who has thought about it, somebody who has trained people to be leaders. We have a guest from far away. We have a guest from Sharjah. We have Excellency Dr. Rashid Leem. Rashid, welcome to Cochin.
Thank you.
You know, they say Cochin is the queen of the Arabian Sea.
Very well.
We have these historic links between Cochin and Arabia.
Exactly.
Salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
And we have three young guests today to discuss this. And our first young guest is Nuthan. Do you think leaders can be created?
Leaders can definitely be created. It is a biochemical combination within the body. If you can increase your testosterone level and you can reduce your cortisol level, your own leadership skills can definitely be enhanced.
That's very interesting. Our second young guest is a young man who has won a lot of awards, Ansif. You know Dr. Leem very well.
Yeah, I know him.
What do you think makes him a good leader?
I know him from last 2-3 years.
Right. What makes him a good leader?
He's very much dedicated, and moreover that he have certain qualities, and I think he had done a lot of sacrifice.
Thank you so much. And our third young guest is Dolly. You think you can train me to be a leader?
Yes, a leader can be trained. However, it is his self-deliberate efforts that makes him a leader.
Deliberate efforts make a person a leader.
Excellent.
Who is a leader, Doctor?
A leader is a person lives among us. A leader is a person lives with a direction. A leader is a person lives with burning desire inside him or her to make a difference in the globe. A leader is a person who has the human touch, moves him around, and that is the main quality, I would say.
When you took over as Director General of the Hamadiya Free Zone, right, I believe there were just 78 ventures in it.
Exactly.
Today there are over 5,500 ventures.
Right.
You are a leader. How did you become this?
Well, as I said earlier, leadership is a position about direction, a position about what's called the true north. To me, leadership is about the true vision. A lot of talk has been made about the true vision, but true vision to me consists of two things to make a real good leaders. First, you need to have your mind, because you need to strategize your thinking. You need to think forward. At the same time, you need to have your heart working together with the mind, and I call this the timeless principle each one of us has in his or her. So when you have the two things together, the mind and the heart, and they synergize, then you get really an extraordinary result. And this is what has been happening. So I have the mind where you think, and I have the heart where you have the principles, or the timeless principles working together.
Young people, you think anybody can become a leader? Are there some qualities you require to be a leader? Dolly?
I think, like we always talk about, leaders are born or they are made. I think it's a mixture of both. There are some leaders who genetically acquire leadership qualities, from their predecessors. But then mostly leaders are made. That's what I feel. Like he said, it's a compilation with your heart and mind. So talking anatomically and psychologically, that makes a leader.
I agree with her more than in one way. But I would also add on to it that as a leader, whether you're born or you've acquired, you need to know where you're going. Only then can you take somebody there. Otherwise, it's not a sustainable proposition. You might fool somebody for some
You must have a vision, isn't it?
Yeah, by all means.
To be a leader.
Yes, by all means. Well, leadership is about creating two things. Leadership is about creating the mental vision which is called, or the mental creation, which we call it the vision, and the physical creation, which is called the vision. And you need to communicate your vision to be a mission. And this is why they say the great leaders are a great communicator. Because if you want really, for example, to be one of the best companies here in Cochin, that you need to be ranked #1, for example, in the coming 10 years. We call this vision. This vision is a mental creation. It is in your mind. It's not but no one else in minds. So it is your job as a leader to communicate the vision to your colleagues, to your friends, and to your employees, to make sure that it become a mission, a statement. And this is where the misconception happening. People, they're mixing up between the vision and how that vision could be a mission. Actually, the mission is the outcome of the vision. And that is where people should focus, yes.
So the vision is where you want to be,
right.
20 years down the line.
Exactly.
It's something far ahead.
Right.
And the mission is how you get there.
Right. Exactly.
The vehicle that takes you.
The vehicle takes you there with your principles, yes.
And communication is very important. You got to be communicative to reach there.
Communication is a very important tool. A leader has to be honest. He has to communicate transparently. He'll have to make sure his followers get what he's walking onto. The vision is what makes a leader. So he'll have to be transparently following a vision.
Ansif, you agree to that?
The followers should acknowledge the leader. That's more important, because there are many leaders. But
how do you get the leaders to acknowledge you as a leader? I want my followers to acknowledge me, but they are not.
It's from your qualities, how you are performing, how you are communicating, how you are guiding. Like instead of giving a fish, you should teach how to fish.
Right. Excellency.
Right.
How do you get your followers to follow you?
Walk the talk. You know, people waiting for your actions.
Okay.
They want to see whatever you're talking, you're preaching,
Right.
you're doing.
Yes.
So this is the first sign how people will really be attracted and live your vision or follow you as
They
a follower.
believe you can change things.
Exactly. I mean, you make a difference not only on yourself, but with them, with the society.
So you not only have to talk,
Right.
but you have to be able to walk the talk. as you say.
Exactly. Exactly.
But then if you have to talk, Nuthan, then how do shy people communicate? Can shy people become leaders? Because they can't talk, they are scared. A camera and
Shy
they...
person who has a vision but can delegate, can execute, can also become a leader. There is a concept called the first follower. If you can inspire one person, even though you are shy, to make that person, activated, then the followers would start. You would still be the leader. Maybe not the forefront, maybe a step back, but you're still the leader.
Is that true?
Yeah, I agree on that. Like if few people are sitting in a meeting, so it should be like that. If somebody comes and asks, who is the leader among this? Okay, it should be like that.
Oh, I'll come to you.
Right.
You think you had a first follower, Rashid?
Right.
Who was your first follower? Or it was a group of followers? It did not be one person, it can be a group.
Well, when I took over and entered the organization, that was March 2000 when I stepped in the office, and that was precisely 11th of March 2000 when I came in that position. I felt so inspired personally, and I know that I'm going to be faced with a tough challenge because I'll be leading a group of 300 people at the same time at one go. So to convince them, you need to show them your qualities, your leadership qualities. And you need, again, as they say, it's not lip services, it's basically is an action which you do. So when I started first, inviting them in my office, and says, the top senior manager says, okay, listen, I'm not going to influence you with my style or my leadership, but what I'm here, I'm a person like you coming for this position for the first time, so I cannot do it alone. I need your support. And this is the best thing you can tell the people. People think that, leadership is a position, someone who sits in the big office in that corner and difficult to come through or even to penetrate. Right, the firewall which he has sometimes. So when they felt, no, this is a person who speaks a very common language, very peaceful, and he's inviting them to come to join him on the leadership role, then my position was much easier.
Yeah, one thing I would like to emphasize on, as he said, when he requests them to support him, one thing that he portrays being a leader is humbleness.
Humility.
It's a very
Yes, very much.
Is that an important factor for a leader?
By all means, yes.
Is this humility a projected humility, or
No.
do you really have to be humble?
You have to really.
Otherwise, they'll catch on.
Yeah, one day you'll be caught.
You can't
Yeah.
fake humility
Yeah.
for a
Okay.
longer time.
Yeah.
And when we talk about the communicators being leaders being communicators, it's not all about talking. It's about walking the talk, like he said.
Humility is something that's very important, and if you look at it as a person, if a person is humble, has the human touch, we say that they have high on oxytocin. Okay, so things that project oxytocin, and we are animals in one level. Okay, we respond to that. So even if that person doesn't speak anything, just because that person is producing a lot of oxytocin, we go ahead along with those person. These are the people who can, create a team.
Have you seen a perfect leader yet?
I've seen,
or is there something called a perfect?
I've seen a perfect leader, yes. I'm a strong believer of our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It's not only my statement to him. Those who study the life of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in a very, very close, have decided that he has almost 57 qualities of leadership, which all the business schools worldwide, they have tried together what is the qualities of the leadership, and they came up to almost together when they summed them up, about 57 qualities. And Michael Hart is American Jewish historian, back in 1978, has written a great book. That book has sold more than 5 million copies so far of that book, and that book still exists, called The 100 Influential Persons in the History. And he put Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, on the first. And he said, I know that is going to be a very, very big debated point, being being a Jewish and being against the Christians and the other leaders who made in the scientific term and other. But he said this is a very fair assessment. After studying his life, I came to know that yes, he possesses all those leadership qualities. So I strongly believe on that. And a person who keeps learning. Myself, I believe even the office boys around here, even those who, have low-key positions, as we say, they do have a leadership qualities within themselves.
Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, had 57 qualities of leadership. Can you tell me, Nuthan, one quality which you consider the most important in a leader?
Ability to take a decision.
To take a decision.
Even I believe Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as a perfect leader. Even when we are doing the business, I take the reference of how he used to do the business and how he used to talk to the people and the ways of creating leaders for tomorrow.
Can you tell me one quality amongst this?
Yeah, he had advised that when you want your children to be a leader, never have an harsh behavior.
A leader should not be harsh.
Yeah.
Dolly, one characteristic of a leader you think is very important?
Yes, I've thought about it. I guess after thinking a lot, one quality a leader should possess is persistence. Yes, I think after taking a decision, the leader should stick through the goal. There might not be an easier way out. The followers might not follow you after some time. So the leader, if he's very sure about the goal, I guess he should stick on to it.
Persistence, she says. Have you had failures in your 10 years as DG in your life?
Very much. I mean, I wouldn't see a leader without making mistakes and sits back. It's always there. Because at the end of the day, we're a human being. We're not aliens coming from outside the world and try to make a difference in the societies. I did, but when you live the vision, you can easily come back over the situation. Because one of the leadership qualities I strongly believe in, flexibility and adaptability. That you're very flexible, that it depends on the situation, you can really move around. And then adaptability of the change. If there's a change, you know how to deal with that change. And this is the most important thing. And again, persistent. You have to keep hitting hard, keep moving forward, because you have the vision with you. So you don't fall apart.
So leaders make mistakes.
Leaders do make mistakes. That is how they come up and become leaders. Without failures, you can't get onto a success. You got to experience one failure or two failures and then build up from that.
We normally associate leaders with power. You think that is the characteristic of a leader?
I don't think. It's all about your quality, character, how you are talking, how you are making the followers understand, how you are motivating them, how it helps the follower to self-motivate yourself. It all depends on that. See, only having the power
What do you think is the most powerful power that a leader has? To my mind, it's the power. The leader's power is the power to influence people.
Right.
The power to convince them, communicate and influence them.
Communication, because they say great leaders are great communicators, by all means. Yet you need the power. You need your followers should know that you're really strong enough. You can defend them, you can protect them. So you need to have the physical evidence that you're really strong enough first. Second, leadership is about communication. And communication, you need to understand the way how your followers, accept the statement or the vision you say, because not of them are good listeners. Right, so sometimes you need to use the body language to convince them of a certain way to communicate a certain message. So leadership is about qualities, not even in the communication. I call it communication management, because you have to manage your communication when you communicate a certain message, because not all the three or all four of us now we get what I said at the same time. The body language itself, the facial expression, the tone of my speech is very important. So it's about managing your communication, I should say.
It's not communication only, it's managing communication.
Right. When you talk about power, it's again relative. It could be different power statements that you put across. For example, for a tyrannical leader, it could be a physical power. For a democratic leader, it could be power of vision. It could be a power of strategy for a business leader. So it differs.
Does democracy produce good leaders, or does heredity produce good? Does democracy produce rabble-rousers who fool you for some time and then move on? Do you think democracy is a breeding ground for producing good leaders or not?
See, we have the good leaders as politicians. We have the worst leaders also. So, see, if you are a fake leader, today or tomorrow, people will come to know. So, if you are a good leader, even if you have left the world, like doctor said, the grave speaks.
Grave speaks. Yeah.
Democracy is a minority representation of a majority sentiment. A leader need not follow the majority sentiment. He must be able to see far beyond it. So democracy, I do not think, is the best place for leadership skills. It is for managing expectations.
There is no particular best place for breeding a leader. Definitely democratic leaders we do have. However, I kind of feel that the people who chooses and votes this leader as a democratic leader, they also play a part of being leaders by themselves. So everybody have that quality, that innate quality in them to come up and being a leader.
You come from a country where there are no democratic leaders. There's hardly any democracy.
Right.
So do you think a leader who's born into the family makes a better leader than a leader who is thrown up through a democratic process?
It is a better leader, well, for one reason, because based on the culture now, the one who leads the country there is the best among that royal family. It's not that someone who comes and says, I am the person for this position. He just can't nominate himself. The family council actually will select the best one who fits for this position. And it's been here for the last more than 500 years now. So this is something, a working model. It's not that something that, we feel bad about it so far. But again, that is bad.
About it.
We're very good about it. Because
what about the Arab Spring? The Arab Spring was an effort at democracy, but it seems to have failed throwing up good leaders.
Again, right from the beginning, because everything starts with a vision. What was the vision for? Is that about, creating a change or creating a difference, or just moving those who were in a leadership position and they were failing to lead their country?
Look at Tunisia, look at Egypt.
They were considered as the democratic countries earlier because they go through election process, right? So the leaders who were moved, actually they were selected by the people. So how come they were thrown out again? Because they were faking the leadership, as we just spoke now. Because down the road, after 30 years, the people discovered that this leader who was promising so much to give to the society and the country, and so much wealth that people are sitting outside his door waiting for jobs, seeking jobs. So they're no job creators, they're just job seekers. And that is the main reason why the Arab Spring has happened. But again, happened because they wanted to have a change, but without a vision, and that's why they're really scrambling here and there now.
Do you think each culture throws up different leaders? The culture that we have in Arabian countries is different from the culture we have in India. So each culture produces different sets of leaders, different characteristics. People with different characteristics become leaders.
Definitely, because it depends on different culture and the different origin. Like if you go to Arabia, the Middle East, the system is different. And if you go to China, again the system is entirely different. But they are developed. They are developed than more than India. So we have a different democratic system. So it differs.
Why is there this gender bias in leadership? Why are so few women leaders?
I kind of feel that we do see women leaders a lot. You look at any
Seriously,
household.
not so many.
If you look at any household, it's all leaders out there.
That's
you
right,
see.
in the household.
Yes, when you look at the social and cultural phenomenon in outside
Political,
the scenario,
religious leaders.
yes, there we do have less women leaders. Why? Because women are still coming into picture, coming outside. It's a little slow that women are coming outside. But when you look at the statistics, there is some 30-40% increase, incremental of women coming.
What do you
into-
say, men or women make good leaders?
I wouldn't say that, it is gender biased. Anyone can choose to be a good leader. However, women by the biology are more nurturing. So they might be more interested in the emotional health, whereas men are more into, they are the hunter-gatherers. They are more into going out there doing something. But if you need something that is balanced, you will need somebody who is balanced within themselves, comfortable with the masculine and the feminine side within themselves.
Dr. Rashid, what do you say? You think women make better leaders than men?
Well, I would agree with the panelist here. I mean, leaders created from the home itself, I would say, and the household, the wife, the mother, the sister in the home. By all means, she contributes because she creates the environment for the leader really to have his leadership environment. And I would agree that probably some of them, we know throughout the history, I really don't have a justification or why, but yes, they are great. I mean, you go throughout the history, there's so many good names written and they've been thousands of years around us, yes.
No matter how many strides we've taken over the years, as a female, you still have certain people lovingly pulling you back. So when you have to break all that and go out there, it's not easy. It's much easier being a man.
Lovingly pulling you back. That's interesting.
I would support her because there are more challenges and struggles a woman has to face when they get into public, more than what men face.
Any of you have children, daughters? You have a daughter.
I do have
You
a
won't
daughter.
lovingly pull her back, would you?
I know, I'm really the one who's pushing her forward to come and really.
Let me ask two final
Right,
questions.
please.
Do we need leaders?
We do need, certainly we do.
Can't we have a world without leaders where everybody is?
Will be difficult.
Will be difficult.
The way how the human kind created this, we need leadership.
And finally, my own point of view, we talked about so many different characteristics a leader has. To my mind, the greatest characteristic a leader should have is love. Love of his followers, love of his people. Isn't love the most important characteristic?
It is one of them. Actually, there are four reasons for a better life. You need to love, to learn, leave a legacy. And love is one of the goals of life, actually.
So for all those out there, young people, who have not been lucky to be born leaders, never mind. You can train yourself and become a leader on your own right. There is that possibility for you. Thank you for watching this show. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you, Dr. Leem, once more for being with us, coming all the way from Sharjah. Be sure to be back next week to watch the next episode of Youth Express.